I want to show you what Kristen did in order to actually get a "we do not hire speakers" response into a gig. Because a lot of times you'll send an email out, you'll contact someone and they'll say, "Hey, we don't really hire speakers." And a lot of speakers tend to quit too soon. So here's what she did.
How'd you do that?
I see that success is not something you pursue. It is something you are.
All right, so Kristen is actually a speaker inside the Speak Pro Academy, and I told her, here's what you do when people say, "Oh, we don't hire speakers," because like I said, a lot of speakers, they quit too soon. When someone says we don't hire speakers or we only bring in industry speakers, people just quit too soon. They're like, "Oh, all right, fine." And then they just stop. They quit too soon. So what Kristen did, in fact, I'll just read this. She says, "Also, I'm excited because I had someone else send me an email stating that they do not hire speakers and she was not interested from the start. I replied stating that I'm willing to not charge and just sell my products from the stage instead. She replied and seemed interested, but she is on vacation right now. So Benji, when you state that we need to always reply when there are objections, this is so true. It does work." I can't help it that I'm just amazing. I just can't help it. And so what Kristen did is Kristen essentially took the templates inside the Speak Pro Academy where people reply, they say a certain thing, "Oh, we don't hire speakers, we don't do this." And at that point, you always got to think, what's your next reply? No matter what they say to you, what's your next reply? If they say, "No, we're not interested," you don't just stop there. You reply at least one more time. And if you get it right, you'll end up getting on a stage. And so what Kristen did and what I told her to do inside the Speak Pro Academy is I told her, okay, at first you're going for the paid gig. If they say no, offer them something different. Say, "Okay, fine. What about me just selling from the stage and you don't have to pay me a thing?" Or if you don't have a product to sell, you could just say, "Okay, fine. What if I found a sponsor for my fee?" And so you always offer something different because those can actually turn into an opportunity. You want to put templates in place for every response. For a response of, "We don't pay speakers, we only hire industry speakers, we're not interested." Basically, if you get a similar response every single time, well, not every time, but most of the times, if you get a similar response, you need to put an email template inside of your CRM, inside of your email solution software, put an email template in there in terms of how to reply back. Just don't give up when people say no. Before you essentially say, I'm trying to read this and trying to say, like, what in the world was I trying to say here? What I was saying here is before you say, "I won't speak for free," because a lot of speakers are like, "I'm not going to speak for free. No, I need to get paid." And a lot of speakers do that. Before you say that, you need to ask yourself, are you worth paying for? Or not are you worth paying for, but do you look like you're worth paying for? Because a lot of times speakers, they'll contact someone and someone will say, "We're not interested," or "We don't hire speakers, we don't pay speakers." And it's more along the lines of, "We just don't want to hire you. We don't want to pay you because your website doesn't look good. You don't have video footage." And so in the beginning, you got to say, "Okay, they said they don't want to hire because I'm charging them X amount. So I'll just say, I'll come speak for free." So a lot of times you also got to think when people send you an objection, like "We don't hire speakers, we don't pay speakers," you got to think there's a reason for that. And the reason is usually your image. And so not only do you have to know how to respond to that, but you also got to know when not to ask for money. And so yeah, just do essentially what Kristen did. When people respond in a certain way, you just respond back. Say, "What now, son? Yeah." That was so dumb.